It's midday in Nigeria. Welcome to Lunchtime Politics on Channels Television. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Here are the highlights. President Bola Tinubu returns to the seat of power, Abuja, from his 4-day engagement at the G20 Compact with Africa Conference. National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress APC dissolves the party's executive at all levels in Rivers State. Plus, more drama in Osun State as judicial workers stage protest over Chief Judge resumption. Union declares indefinite strike.
This is Channels Television's breaking news.
The Court of Appeals sitting in the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, has set aside Nasarawa State Governorship Tribunal judgment and has affirmed Governor Abdullahi Sule as the governor of Nasarawa State. Now, Governor Abdullahi Sule of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, had filed an appeal against the verdict of the tribunal, which sacked him and declared David Ombugadu of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, as winner of the election. Delivering judgment, the 3-member panel held that the Nasarawa State Election Petition Tribunal erred in law in concluding that Mr. Sule did not win majority of the votes cast in the election. The appellate court subsequently set aside the judgment of the tribunal and affirmed the re-election of Abdullahi Sule as governor of Nasarawa State. President Bola Tinubu has returned to the nation's capital of Abuja from Berlin, Germany, where he had joined other world leaders in the G20 Compact with Africa CWA conference. President Tinubu was received on arrival by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, FCT, Mr. Nyesom Wike, the National Chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, and the Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila. While in Germany, the President also held bilateral talks with the German Chancellor, Olaf Scholz, and also attended the 10th German-Nigerian Business Forum in Berlin, where he assured German business community that with Nigeria's stable political landscape, foreign investments into the country are now very secure. The National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress, the APC, has dissolved the Executive Council of the Rivers State chapter of the party. In a press statement released on Wednesday evening, the party's NWC also appointed a new 7-man caretaker committee to be led by Mr. Tony Okocha. The party is yet to give any official reason for the dissolution. Following the announcement of the dissolution of the Rivers State chapter of the All Progressives Congress by the National Working Committee of the party, members of the state executives are rejecting the dissolution. Now, Emeka Beke, the state party chairman, was contacted by our correspondent on Wednesday night, and he said he was not even aware of the dissolution. This morning, however, the publicity secretary of the party, Darlington Waju, says the legal advisor, chairman, and the state executives are rejecting the dissolution because it is illegal and cannot stand. According to our correspondent, the governorship candidate of the APC, Toyin Cole, and former governor Chiwike Amechi are yet to react, with Mr. Cole neither answering nor returning calls made to his phone. Meanwhile, the new caretaker committee chairman appointed by the National Working Committee, who also doubles as a board member of the NDDC board, that is, Mr. Tony Okocha, declined to speak to the press, saying he's waiting to be inaugurated on Friday. All right, so joining me for this conversation is Mr. Darlington Nwaju, the Publicity Secretary of the APC in Rivers State. You're welcome to the program Lunchtime Politics.
Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
All right, so give us your thoughts when this news broke that the NWC, that's the National Working Committee of the APC, announced this dissolution of the Executive Committee. Did it come as a shock, or was this expected even from the outset?
Well, I would say that it came like a thunder from the blues, because we never expected such a rash decision from the National Working Committee of our great party. Now, you will recall that sometime in May, precisely on the 4th of May, the state leadership of the party, together with our governorship candidate, had visited the then national chairman of the party and members of the NWC of the party to chart a way forward for our beloved political party. And one of the key things that the former chairman Abdullahi Adamu told us was that the removal of a single party executive is a difficult task, because you have series of protocols to observe before that would be seen to be legally or duly done. Now, fast forward to 26th of September 2023, when we visited the new, to congratulate Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, our new national chairman, and members of the National Working Committee. He told us something, and I want to paraphrase. He said that we need to open our doors to those who left us to contest elections on other political party platforms. And that we also need to open our doors to persons who are on the other side, who want to join us from other political parties. Now, between then and now, what has gone wrong? What is the problem in Rivers APC that the National Working Committee of the party did not take time and based on the dictates of our party constitution, the 2022 March 2022 constitution as amended, to set up a fact-finding committee to analyze what is actually happening in Rivers State APC and fashion a way forward. Now, let me also tell you that the National Working Committee of the party APC does not have the powers under our constitution to dissolve an elected state chapter of the APC. And so we wonder where the powers is coming from. Because it is only when the neck of the party has been meant to donate the powers to the NWC that such very weighty decisions can be taken. And we are also aware that on the 5th of August, a meeting of the NEC held, and nowhere on the line items for that particular meeting was the issue of Rivers APC discussed. So when the NWC get the powers from the NEC to take such a drastic decision, again, we want to ask, because the person they have so named as CTP of the party is not a member of the APC. We also ask, because Article 13.4, paragraph 14 of the party clearly says what protocol should be undertaken by the NWC before waivers can be granted. So when was this person who is being named caretaker chairman of our party, when was he granted this waiver? When did the neck of our party donate powers to the NWC to grant waivers to such a person? So
all right, Mr. Nwaju, if I may come in there.
Very unfortunate, and right. It is a strike on the growth of democracy in Nigeria.
All right, if I might come in there, my apologies, but of course the Rivers State APC has already condemned this action as illegal, and of course you've spoken extensively about that. But as a caretaker committee is about to be put in place, or should I say about to be inaugurated, which I believe will be this Friday, why do you feel the appointment of that caretaker committee, which has Mr. Tony Okocha as its chairman, shouldn't be allowed, to oversee the affairs of the APC? Of course, you've said you don't think he's a part, or you believe that he's not a part of the party in the first place. But don't you think it's going to have implications for the APC, in Rivers State going forward?
Well, it is not a matter of having implications on the party. What we think should be done right now is for the leader of the party, because I am not sure, I do not want to believe that the leader of the party, our beloved President Bola Ahmed Tinubu GCFR, is aware of these hasty decisions that have been taken by the Ganduje-led NWC. Because you cannot take such a sweeping decision without making very, very extensive consultations. It is not forgetting the fact that this is a constitutional issue, and you must have to get the approval of the neck of the party. And we are aware that on the 5th of August this year, such issues came up for discussion, for deliberation. And so that is why we are saying that our leader, the President of the Federal Republic, must to intervene. Members of his NWC to order in order not to shipwreck the APC in Rivers State. Because what they are intending to do is that to a man who has this with his tenants. All
right, we'll leave it at that. We'll leave it at that. But Mr. Darlington Waju, former Publicity Secretary APC in Rivers State, we thank you for your thoughts on lunchtime politics. We definitely appreciate your thoughts on the program. Thank you once again. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Now let's move on to Osun State, where the judiciary workers have declared an indefinite strike to express their grievances over what they allege to be injustice and persecution they are facing under the leadership of the State Chief Judge, Justice Adepele Ojo. Now, the workers had on Monday picketed the State High Court in Osogbo to demand for the reinstatement of their suspended members. They are also demanding for the payment of some of the allowances they are entitled to. Now, the chairman of the judiciary workers in the state, Olugbenga Eludire, claims that some of their members sustained injuries as a result of the police dispersing their members with tear gas. The public relations officer of the Osun State Police Command, Yemisi Okpalola, while reacting to the allegation, disclosed that the police used the canisters to disperse the crowd and not to injure anyone.
As yesterday, when the committee inaugurated came to us, we told them that the picketing still subsists and that after our deliberation, we will go on here to declare by ourselves that our matter has been resolved. But they now came with full force, hefty security officers with harm. So they now came. And after that, what we saw was that they started shooting at us sporadically. And in fact, some media that even came with us that were on ground to cover the whole were injured. Many of my members were also injured. Since the Honorable Chief Judge has declared war against all our workers, we are left with no any other option. So on that note, I am saying again, and I want to reiterate on that all judiciary workers should stay at home until further directive.
Today, when they refuse to, to leave the place, we have to use minimum force, and that is what we can use is to tear gas that area, so that when we smoke the area, everybody will disperse, and that was what happened. It's not meant to injure anybody or to do anything, and it doesn't even injure. It's only to is only to ensure that they disperse, they leave that premises, since we have been using all other means, all other methods that we know to talk to them, to appeal to their, to their consciousness, to appeal to them, to, to be able to leave the place, and they refuse to leave.
They have the right. They have the right to protest peacefully. And they have the right to industrial action. They can go on strike to push in their demands from the authority. But it must not be violently done. And that's we've advised them on. But based on coming to the petitions we have before us, everybody will be given sense of fair hearing, and we are going to dispense justice.
For more on the Osun Judicial Workers' protest, my next guest, Mr. Kolakwa Alimi, the Commissioner for Information in Osun State, joins us from Osogbo, the state capital. Great to have you on the program, Lunchtime Politics.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, our viewers at home.
Good afternoon. Great to have you. So let's look at it, wholly and wholesomely. The Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, that's JUSUN, in Osun State, have already declared that indefinite strike following a tear gas that was fired at protesting workers by the police stationed at the High Court entrance yesterday. Well, from your vantage position, can you tell us what actually led to this situation? Was there any sense at all by the state government of this scenario playing out? And can you bring us up to speed concerning this development even as we speak?
Well, thank you very much. Let me make it clear to our viewers at home, the Nigerians, in the whole world, that the issue of the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria with Honorable Chief Judge of the State, my Lord Justice Adekunle Ojo, has nothing to do with the state government. The issue with Justice Adekunle Ojo actually started with a petition to the Osun State House of Assembly. And House of Assembly, in their own wisdom, look into it and pass certain resolution. The resolution directed the Chief Judge to step aside and that the most senior judge next to the Chief Judge to be sworn in. The resolution was actually directed to the Osun State Governor, His Excellency, Senator Ademola Jackson. When the governor received the resolution, he received advice from the Attorney General and some lawyers that the best thing to be done was actually for the governor to send the resolution to the NJC. The governor immediately, the governor at that time was not around, and he directed the deputy governor who was then in Abuja to write a letter along with that resolution and send it to the NJC. And the deputy governor complied with. So as it is now, the governor sent a letter to the NJC awaiting the arrest. So I don't know why this one generated Ulabalu. However, what we observed was that the Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria happened to be one of the petitioners to the House. Part of their grievance, they have made known to the whole world that some of their members have been suspended, and that after the suspension, they were arraigned before the court. The court discharged and acquitted them and directed the Chief Judge to respect them that over almost 3 years now, the Chief Judge has failed to comply with that order. And that was the reason why I thought they were picketing the court. I thought in that kind of situation, dialogue would be the option. I wouldn't know how it now happened that the policemen now accompanied the Chief Judge and they forcibly entered that place, which resulted into fracas. And the consequence of it, as it is now, is that the JUSUN in Osun State has declared indefinite strike. So what I can tell the whole world now is that our governor is trying as much as possible to settle the whole issue. The governor has no hand in it, and I know other stakeholders too, they are trying to mediate. But as it is now, what I learned from the level source is that the JUSUN in Osun State, they are on indefinite strike. But it has nothing to do with the state government.
All right, so of course, JUSUN as a body seems dissatisfied with the state chief judge, and they've said that according to JUSUN, they said that there was a declaration of war against the workers, citing issues of mismanagement in the judiciary. What's your reaction to that? And of course, what effort is the Osun State government going to take to resolve the crisis, even in the short term? Of course, you've made mention of some of the steps that you're taking, but this crisis needs to be resolved very quickly.
Thank you very much. Just like you have already said, when court is closed like that, it has greater effect. You have some criminals in correctional centers who want to access the court to get their freedom. As you are looking at me, my humble self by training, I am a legal practitioner. I am a lawyer by training. And so the lawyers do not have access to court. So it has greater effect. Even civil matters, there are some civil matters that are due for judgment, hearing, and so on and so forth, that will be delayed. And so it is not in the interest of our system that the court should be closed. So the government will take steps, but as I've told you, this thing requires patience. And let me tell you one thing, that the governor, His Excellency Senator Ademola Adeleke, and the chief judge of Osun State, my Lord Justice Adekunle Ojo, they are from the same town. They are from Ede, and so that people will know there is a connection between them. So the governor, as much as possible, is trying in his own capacity. So what is happening is that something has to be, certain procedure has to be followed. As for the issue of technical here and there, I believe the appropriate procedures to be followed. The governor has actually directed the resolution sent to him, has directed it to the NJC, and I'm very sure the NJC will soon come out with the arrest. But pending that time, I think the government is talking to the chief judge and to the police to look for amicable resolution, and also to the judicial leadership so as to find an amicable resolution to this current impasse.
All right, we'll definitely leave it at that. The Commissioner for Information in Osun State, Mr. Kolapo Alimi, thank you so much for your thoughts on the program Lunchtime Politics.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Let's head to Kano now, where protests erupted yesterday at the Dan Agundi area after the emergence of the certified true copy, the CTC document of the judgment of the appeal court, which sacked the governor Abba Yusuf. Now, the police were, however, able to disperse the protesters, although some of them have vowed to remain on the streets. The protests are coming after an order directed by the State Police Command against any gathering over the appeal court judgment. Our correspondent, Sadiq Ilyasu, reports.
It's been 5 days since the appeal court delivered its judgment that sacked Abba Yusuf as the Kano State Governor. Protests erupted in Dan Agundi area after the certified true copy of the judgment emerged with what some have described as contradictions. The stones-bearing, tire-burning protesters clashed with police personnel who used tear gas to disperse them.
This morning, the concerned citizens of Kano arranged a peaceful prayer session in the Mahaha field. Unfortunately, after the peaceful session, the Nigerian police come and open fire on us. This is open day robbery. The Kano mandate has been stolen by the APC. The APC are trying to turn the Nigerian political system into one-party system. This will never be accepted, and we are calling on the masses to start bringing us food, water, and other supplies. We will not leave this place. We are going to die here.
All of this is in spite of an earlier stern warning issued by the police against anyone planning or taking part in protests.
Government House is #1 beat in the state, and combined security officials in the state will never sit down and see anybody going to vandalize any property. So anybody who finds himself to loot or to destroy or to attack people will definitely find it very difficult with us. And equally, Kano State is a place where people from different backgrounds, both Nigerian and non-Nigerians, are enjoying their lives and going about their businesses. We are aware that these people are planning to start looting shops and sending fear to people. Close the market, close the bank, close the schools. That we will never allow it.
Some level of calm has been restored to Kano metropolis, but the tension in Kano following the controversial court judgment calls for an urgent action for enduring peace.
The Chief Registrar of the Court of Appeal, Mr. Umar Bangari, in a swift reacting to the controversies surrounding the judgment delivered by the court on the Kano governorship election dispute, says that what happened in the judgment body was a typo error that did not in any way invalidate or change the findings and conclusion of the court. Now, the Chief Registrar assures that the error would be rectified once parties in the matter filed a formal application to that effect. He cited Order 23, Rule 4 of the Court of Appeal Handbook, which empowers the court to correct any clerical error once detected by the court or any of the parties in the matter. He insists that, contrary to insinuations, the judgment of the court remains valid. Meanwhile, the New Nigeria People's Party, the NNPP, has filed its notice of appeal before the Supreme Court to challenge the November the 17th judgment of the Court of Appeal, which upheld the decision of the Election Petition Tribunal sacking Governor Abba Yusuf and declared Nasiru Gawuna of the APC as the duly elected governor of Kano State. In the notice dated November the 22nd and filed by Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Boyega Awomolo, leading 7 other senior advocates and 10 other lawyers, the NNPP listed 10 grounds for challenging the appeal. The party challenged the entire judgment of the Court of Appeal except the final conclusion and orders at page 67 of the duly certified true copy CTC document, including the order as to cost favorable to the appellant. Listed as respondents in the notice of appeal are the Governor, Abba Yusuf, the APC, and the electoral umpire, the Independent National Electoral Commission. And with that, we draw the curtain on the program Lunchtime Politics. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun.